Georgianna Leete, and I'm representing the Middle East group. Today I'm going to show you how to make baklava. Baklava is one of the specialty desserts of the Middle East. It was originated in Greece, but has been used throughout the Middle East as a specialty dessert for special occasions after Ramadan, Eid, and so on. Today I'm going to use the recipe from the book of Middle Eastern Food by Claudia Roden. This is a great book and tells you a lot about the history of food and culture in the Middle East, especially as it pertains to their diet. So we're going to get started. We use a 9 by 12 pan, and I also have phyllo dough, which I got in the freezer section of the grocery store. You can get it at any grocery store. I've unwrapped it and I've covered it up so that it won't dry out. You don't want it to dry out because it's very, very fine pastry. Next, I'm going to go over to the stove and I'm going to use 2 cups of sugar, 1/2 cup of water, and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I've already put that in my pan, and I'm cooking that on a medium-high heat until it boils. I'm going to cook it until it will cover and coat the back of the spoon. So we're going to start. Also, we have a couple of things that we have as ingredients. We have chopped nuts, in addition to the sugar and the lemon, and we have 1 cup of melted butter. So I'm going to get my melted butter out of the microwave. Come over here. Before you do anything, you should stir your butter and carefully lather lots of butter at the bottom to the bottom of your pan. Then you take several pieces because you want to have a good base for your baklava, and you put it in. And if you have any little tidbits at the corners, you just fold them right in. This sounds like a very difficult dessert, but in fact it's very easy. Then you layer your butter once again, continually stirring it so that you get a really good flavor. And do every part of it. Keep your phyllo covered. Then you've taken your chopped nuts and layer it very carefully.
What kind of nuts do you use for this?
Today I used walnuts, but you can use just about any nut. Walnuts and pistachios are preferred. So you have your first layer. Then I usually just try to take a couple pieces at a time. And we use another layer of phyllo dough, covering it every time. Again, butter, tucking in the corners. This is an unusually good dessert, but as I said, it's actually quite easy to do. It really doesn't take very long. But it's quite a treat. Again, we do our layer of nuts. And you just keep building this. It's almost like you build a lasagna. And you just keep going, layer by layer. Oh, had a little piece drop off there, but that's okay. There's plenty of extra.
How many layers does a baklava usually have?
As many as you want. You can do it in single layers, or you can do it in multiple layers.
Go.
We're just going to continue that until we finish with our nuts and our phyllo. Building our delicious layers. We're just about to the end, so we're going to make sure we have all the ends tucked in. As you can see, it's very quick once you have everything set out and prepared. You want to make sure you especially get those corners because they have a tendency to dry out a tiny bit, and the edges. You want to make sure that they're well buttered. This is not exactly light cuisine, but it is very delicious. You can certainly imagine why it would be used for celebratory occasions. We're getting down to the last little bit, and this is our next to the last layer. We're just going to do this quickly. After we do this, we're going to score it and cut through all these layers so that when we put the syrup on, and that it will just permeate everything. It'll go right through all the little slits that we make and make it absolutely delicious. This is our last layer of nuts. And we'll just finish up with that. And this is our top layer, our final layer. Again, we're just tucking in the edges. And we're going to really make sure that every little bit is covered with butter. And then we're going to slice it so that when we pour the syrup over that we've made, it will just hit every little crevice. It's very delicate to do the cutting, so you have to have a very sharp knife and be prepared for it to rip a little bit. That's okay. It will all come out in the end. There, we've used our last little bit of nuts and phyllo. So now I'm going to cut it. I have a very sharp knife. I'm going to cut it first down in across the rectangular pan, just like that. Well, somebody's going to have some smaller pieces, and somebody's going to have some bigger pieces. Then I'm going to start cutting at an angle. I'm going to cut from the middle first, being careful not to rip it too much. And going from side to side, creating triangles. That's the typical cut that baklava would be made in. A little diamond shape. Now we've just about come to the end of our preparation. That looks a little big, so I'm going to cut that one in half. I think I'll let the others stay the way they are. Just to top that off, I'm going to pour the butter in where I have the cuts. Then I'm going to put it in a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I'm going to turn the oven up to 450 and put it in leave it in the oven for an additional 10 minutes. So here we go. So after about 35 40 minutes. You're going to pull it out and pour, oops, I forgot that part, and pour your cooled syrup over it while it's very, very hot. So you pour your syrup over, let it cool, and the finished product should look just like this. I hope you enjoy making baklava at your house, and I'm going to have somebody give it a taste test to see how it tastes to my grandson and sous chef. As you can see, it's a little hard to get out. It's a little bit sticky, but very delicious.
Have you ever had baklava, Jack?
Not yet.
What do you think?
It tastes kind of like a fruity nut bar. It's
Well,
awesome.
good. Well, thanks, Jack. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of making baklava, the specialty dessert from the Middle East. Thanks.